Guys, over the weekend, I went to Sweet Home, Oregon for Coach Thorpe, and I was speaking to a graduating class of athletes. So not only were they graduated, but of athletes specifically. And he asked me if I would give them a few words. So I drive down and had a very wonderful time. But one of the things that I told this group, and it was the very first thing I told this group, which is I am here to give you advice. But whatever comes out of my mouth next, I didn't think up. I got somewhere else. I heard someone else say, I identified and took with me. So we're all athletes here, but I'll use my own sports career as a wrestler. I never scored a point with a technique that I made up. I got them all from somebody else. I saw somebody else do it. I learned everything from somewhere else. And if you're the next Steve Jobs or Elon Musk, I don't want to stifle your creativity, but I would encourage you to identify early on, are you the great thinker and developer and the next Einstein out there? Or are you better off to do what Chael did, which is to see somebody else who's already done what I want to do and then copy them? And it's tough when you talk to high school kids about that because up until this point in their life, everything they've ever known about copying is cheating. Talk about homework assignments. You're talking about a quiz or a test. No, it doesn't work that way outside of there. You should be able to look around, see somebody that's doing something effectively and study it. Whether that's in current time or you've got to go back in time. You do not need to reinvent the wheel. I only offer that for you because I see this in the world of MMA, where many guys are coming out and they're trying to be the next Rock, or they're trying to be the next Austin, and instead of trying to be the first themselves. And if you ever get it wrong in MMA, if you just don't know what you're doing, just do what Izzy does. I have not seen Adesanya get one wrong yet. Adesanya came out. He was in a conference call interview with Vettori. I mean, these are just a couple, but in the last 48 hours, something that's very topical that you can relate to. In the last 48 hours, Vettori on this conference call told Adesanya, I don't like you very much. Adesanya trumped him and goes, well, I hate you. And I remember when he said it, it's a very simple line, but Vettori said, hear this again, I don't like you very much. Now, that's not nice. That's not a nice thing to say. How do you respond to that? Most of you go, well, I don't like you either. No, Izzy responded, but he trumped him. Well, I hate you. Hate is a lot stronger than I don't like you very much. It was just one of these simple back and forths, but there was something brilliant to it. Adesanya did an interview today. He said, we don't even need the judges. And he left it at that, though, open-ended. That is much better to allow a level of speculation, right? The speculation is very clear. I'm well aware. You don't have to put on your Columbo rain jacket to see. He's saying, I'm going to knock this guy out. I'm going to finish this guy. I get it, but he didn't say it. He didn't say it, and that's much better. I'm going to finish him in the first round. I'm going to knock him out of the first round. Right? Guys say that all the time. It's boring. It's boring, and it doesn't behoove the audience to come and watch. Because what if you're right? If you're really going to get rid of this guy in the first round, why am I paying $50 for it? Don't tell me when you're going to get rid of him. Let me guess. Let me wonder. Some people want it to be over in the first 30 seconds. That is a very small market. Some people want it to be over 24 and a half minutes in so that they get their dollar's worth. Let them guess. It is always more powerful to allow speculation, which is what Adesanya did. He made no claim. All he said is we don't need judges for this one. I bring this to you because, you know what? Hold the thought. You guys want to know something? When I did The Apprentice, I was able to spend a day with Warren Buffett. And yeah, nobody name drops more than Chael. I get that I'm doing that. But in that day, there was an hour that was just back and forth where you could ask questions, and I did. And the way his mind worked, and I had read 3 of his books prior to this, and they were all in the books as well, was always a simplicity. By example, he had a stain in his shirt one time. This is from a book. He had a stain in his shirt one time. He couldn't get it out. He liked the shirt. He finally used Tide laundry detergent. Tide was the one that got the stain out. He went and bought the company. But it was always things like this. And I was in front of Warren specifically on a See's Candy project. He owns See's Candy. We had to go into the chocolate factory, the lab, design our own candy, fly it out to Omaha, present him with it. It was the entire challenge. So he talked about why he bought See's Candy. And when he went to buy it, his entire plan was keep the company exactly the way it is, up the price of candy, thus upping the profits. That'll cover the spread. We win. And everybody said, well, that's ridiculous. You can't go in and change the price of candy. Everybody knows what candy costs. They'll just buy your competitor. And he said, no, I don't think so. Said See's candy specifically, I believe, is bought for anniversaries, for Valentine's Day, and at the holidays. 3 times a year. I don't think they do know what it costs. And it was an excellent point because I could relate. I buy See's candy. I don't know what it costs. If you want to go in and buy a pound of chocolate or a half pound of dark chocolates or a box of assorted chocolate, Warren's right. I have the foggiest idea. Now, if you tell me a Snickers or a Kit Kat or a Twix, those are all 50 cents at my local Chevron. Throw a Butterfinger and a whatchamacallit in there, they're all 50 cents at my local 7-Eleven. I will know if all of a sudden they're 80 cents. So he went in, he bought the company for $1 billion or $2 billion back in the 70s at the time. It's now got a $30 billion valuation. I'm changing numbers, but you understand my point. It's something along these lines. And all he did, he didn't restructure anything. He didn't change how it was marketed. He didn't change how it was wrapped. He didn't change how it was made. He just added 30% to the price, understanding that the consumer who buys that for specific reasons because it represents specific things, and he doesn't think they buy it enough to know what it costs. He was right. That was in the 70s. It was a very simplistic mindset is what I'm sharing with you. Much like I told the kids. You can go out and create something new. Sure you can. And you're generally going to look like a fool. But without risk, there's not reward. Again, I would not stymie that if you've got a creative mind. And we do see them come along. Sean O'Malley. Sean O'Malley, by example, is not a good guy or a bad guy. He represents something completely in between. He has got a character and a gimmick completely of his own. And then you've got the Adesanya. Adesanya's got something completely different. Adesanya will entertain you on the way to the ring, in the ring, and as he exits stage left. He is the only one in sport, and I think that you possibly would have to include MVP. Nobody else does that. Nobody can do it. Go into Deontay Wilder comes out in a ridiculous outfit. Whether he puts on a good performance for you or not, on the way out the door, you're going to get nothing. And that's okay. That's a compliment to Deontay. Deontay hits you with 2 of the 3. The 3 of the 3, it's pretty damn rare, right? I mean, you're talking about Conor McGregor level status here, where every time that camera's on, stop what you're doing. Everybody be quiet. Something's happening. I don't know what's about to happen, but something's happening. That's great TV. That's incredible TV. That's what somebody makes a TV star. They get you every which way you go. Most of the fighters, if you were to sit them down and ask how many aspects are to their fight, they would have no idea there was 3. Well, there's an entrance and there's the fight and there's the exit. My God, I never thought of it like that. I'm sure they did it. Most of them do not. If you're one of those guys, that's okay. If you want to build your way up the card, if you want to be like the champ, you don't have to just learn how to do a question mark kick. You got to learn how to captivate people. It was a simple line. We don't even need judges. It's a simple line. I don't suggest for you Adesanya made that up. I'm quite sure. In fact, I've even heard it before. Wherever I've heard it before is likely who Adesanya stole it from. Doesn't matter. Great line. Worked.